Well, good morning and welcome to something that we have no idea if it's going to work, if it's if we're going to hate it, if we're going to love it, but and we don't even have a name for it really, but welcome to what Brooke and Matt are going to talk about on Tuesday mornings.
Nice.
Matt, why don't you introduce yourself and then I'll introduce myself.
Yeah, sure. My name's Matt Howard. I'm with the Pelletier Properties team out of Keller Williams North Central. I'm a buyer's specialist there.
That's how we met. And I am Brooke Silva. I'm the regional technology trainer for Keller Williams New England. And our story and how we got here, I think it's hilarious. The people at the party the other night thought it was pretty hilarious on what we're doing. So let's dig into it. So
Yeah.
I met you at one of my first trainings I did at your market center. I did, what was it, database to data bank?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
So we met there, had never met before. You were one of my good pupils in the front, mainly because you were late. So that's where I put you.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I met you at database data bank. That was right around Halloween.
Because I was dressed as the devil.
Yes. I didn't know you were dressed up, right?
I know,
asked
it's
if you
just
were
my
wearing a
normal.
costume, and you told me no. This is
I know.
your typical
I
apparel.
part my hair to hide the horns, very specific on good days. And I am wearing red again, of course, right? So. And then you came to my productivity powered up, and there's a theme here because I was also dressed in character.
Yeah, that one I wish I got the memo on the dress up because I was a video game Mario and Luigi themed type event, and that's really up my alley. So I was a little disappointed that I didn't get the memo on.
I will send. I was going to say I'd send you some mustaches, but yours is on point.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm all set.
I had to really get in part on that one.
Yeah.
And then your market center was kind enough to invite me to their hilarious after holidays party. It was probably one of the funniest market center events I've ever been to because what started this whole blog, whatever you were going to call this, what we're doing our podcast, is that it was a trash to treasure swap, I guess you would call it, white elephant. And so we all had to bring something from Christmas we may not have enjoyed, past gifts, and it was Yankee swap style.
Yeah.
Matt ended up getting this book. Do you want to, and I'll make sure it's in the notes, but Matt ended up getting this book called.
Yeah, so it's called Our Q&A a Day, 365 questions over 3 years, 2,190 shared answers, a 3-year journal for 2 people.
But it doesn't say who these 2 people are. So I looked at him and said, we should do a podcast and ask each other these questions once a week. Because technically, we barely know each other. We probably have not had more than an hour of actual dialogue back and forth.
Yeah, I would say that's very true.
Right? But when you're like, ooh, you're going to be one of my people.
Yep.
That was when I met you. I'm like, ooh, Matt's going to be one of my people.
Yep.
I mean, and we don't even know what we have in common outside of barbecue and tacos. We both love those. We learned that through the tagging.
Yep.
So when we saw this book, I mean, we were dying of laughter. And then other people were like, we'd watch that. We'd listen to that. So here we are. And it may just be us. We may have guests on. It may be Matt and a guest if I'm not available. Maybe me and a guest if Matt's not available. So I'm excited to see where it's kind of like Perfect Strangers. Did you ever see that show? I might be aging myself a little.
Yeah, I don't think I recall that show. Might not be an age thing though. I don't know.
Premise of the story: guy needs a place to stay. He's from out of the country, meets this other guy. They're perfect strangers. A wonderful late 80s, 90s sitcom. A lot of fun phrases have come out of that TV show. So
Nice.
That's what we kind of are. Our modern perfect strangers, just trying to figure out what each other likes. And I think it's actually really fun because our world of real estate is all relationships.
Yes, yeah, 100%, right? Like that's where our business lies, is within relationships and forming and building those relationships. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for us to do it and just if people decide to tune in and watch, they can see how relationships form. Just because we're forming ours like literally in front of an audience at this point. If anyone decides to come in.
And so when I was telling my husband about it, he's like, I would like to be a guest. And I was like, I'll see. You will have to audition. But I just think these questions are so fascinating because it doesn't say necessarily for romantic relationships on the book. I mean, it's got flowers and the heart carved out of the tree on the cover, but they're really good questions.
Yes. I've taken a peek through some of the questions to get an idea of what we have in store for us. Some of them are, I would say, specifically geared towards relationships. But some of them are just good questions to ask people that you know, to get to know someone deeper. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, the person that you're in a committed relationship with. I think they're just good questions to ask people, right? Like if you want to know someone on a deeper level, some of these questions are going to be like, oh, wow, I think I should ask my mom that question or my best friend that question to really, get to know someone on a deeper level. And again, that's, I think, what we strive to do on a daily basis in our lives and in our work, is to do that. So
true. And I think if anybody's following along, they should write these questions, grab a blank journal and go on this journey with us, because these are some really cool questions. I know I've done journals like this, and it's a keepsake for my kids. Like they're going to know things about me that I might not have brought up in normal conversation. So today's question then. So let's just get right into it, this first episode. Yeah. And what is the first question of today?
All right. Today's question for January 4th is, who inspires you?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
That's a hard one because I think that's different, right? So different parts of your life. You need different things. You go first. I think I know who, but I need a minute, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really tough question. And I think there could be a lot of answers, right? It depends on what you're talking about. So inspiration in general is, for me, as far as work's concerned, my team inspires me, right? So I, get up. I have a great team that I work with who encourage me all the time. I'm a relatively new agent in the business. I've been working here at Keller Williams for a little bit over a year now. Joined the team within the first 6 months. And they really encourage and inspire me to do better every day, every week. Now into the new year, so every year. So I would say that they definitely inspire me. So, Nick Pelletier, my boss, Andy Reiser, our director of operations, they're great team to have, very, very supportive.
You have a great team. You guys have a great dynamic. I love when I get to visit the Market Center and hang out with any of you, whether it's training or one-on-ones or classes. We have a blast. It'll sound cliche, but at work, so if we're going to do work or personal, you guys inspire me. So I know in class, if you heard my big why, but when you grow up with a learning disability and you feel that I can't learn, I don't deserve to learn, and it took me a long time to get past that. My passion is you guys and making sure that when I roll in, it doesn't matter what you know or what you don't know, we level the playing field, right? And everybody gets that base knowledge so we can tackle bigger topics together or better business or whatever I'm teaching that day, right? I don't know what my camera's doing. But that's what drives me and inspires me every day is I'll sit here and my poor husband, he's like, I see those wheels, they're spinning. And I'm like, an agent asked me a question. This agent asked me a question and I have an idea for a class. And he's like, does it involve costumes? It always involves costumes. But you guys inspire me daily. And I'm putting out content in classes and things, and I'm being pushed harder than ever to be better. So you guys get the best training. So, some of my agents have just really made it so that I'm inspired by them.
That's awesome.
All right. Personal
Yeah.
life. Who inspires you?
Um, yeah, it's a tough question. I think the easiest answer would have to be my mom, right? Like, my mom, I grew up, my mom's a single mom, so she's always inspired me to do my best. And now that I'm older, I'm in my 30s now, I'm a grown adult. She inspires me to just do better and be successful in life. And I want to be successful the older I get, to make sure that she's comfortable when she gets older and has to, needs a little bit more taken care of. So that's that. And I'd say myself, right? Because I don't think inspiration has to come from somewhere. So you have to have the urge to wake up and do good every day yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not always going to be motivated to do the things that you have to do. So you have to find that routine,
drive,
right?
right? The
Yeah,
drive.
exactly, right. And it's not always about drive and motivation. So it comes down to routine, right? Are you in a routine that's going to make you, do the things that you need to do every day?
Great discipline.
Exactly, right. Because it's just like going to the gym, right? You don't have the motivation to go to the gym every single day. But if you get in a routine where you go to the gym every day, you're gonna get up and do it, even though you don't necessarily want to. And work can be that way, but hopefully work is a little bit more fun. We're all, especially the work we do, we're always seeing new challenges and new circumstances. I've done, not a ton of deals, but every deal that I've done has been different.
Yeah. There's no playbook.
I would tell any new agent or anybody thinking of becoming a real estate agent is to, like, what to expect. It's like,
There's nothing.
there's nothing to expect, because, like, you could get your license and be doing deals for 5 years, and every time is a different situation.
Which is what I love about our world too. It's, like there are so many clients that become our friends.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So many. And that's one of my favorite. I love hearing those stories from you guys. So it sounds like your mom is also your big why. So if you haven't played on getting your big why down, it sounds like you've really got it narrowed down, that you want to make sure you can take care of your mom.
Yeah. And yeah, my I think family and stuff like that is important to, I have my big why right here.
Nice.
So it's something that, yeah, I think everybody has to take a look at. And, you have to know what's going to drive you to be successful every day.
You do.
So yeah. How about you?
So I was lucky enough to grow up with, regular mom, dad, sister, all this, and I had very big family on both sides. But growing up, we were not rich by any means. There were struggle days. My parents farmed, they both worked 2 jobs. My dad ran a business, and I got to spend. Now, most people would look at that and go, "Ooh, she didn't see her parents," but I did. But I had the best, because I had 2 grandmothers who were best friends and lived across the street from one another. Where my dad's summer house was where my grandmother and my mom grew up. That was their full-time house, and it was this little 1.5 lane road, right? So we could go anywhere. The kids ruled the neighborhood, but I got to spend my childhood with my 2 grandmothers, who were, let me tell you, if there was such thing as ladies and leaders back then, and it was a huge thing, these women would have dominated the world. They were pistols. They cooked, they did everything. They worked their buns off. One of my grandmothers worked in the mill yards of Manchester, and just not easy work. And then my other grandmother just raised all the kids, supported her husband, and farmed. This woman could touch a plant and it would come to life. Like, she was magic. And she taught me things like zero waste households. So nothing went to waste. Mm-hmm. So we grew up jarring and canning and cooking. And I mean, everything we touched had a use somewhere, whether it became soap or compost or the seeds were kept. I mean, insane the way her brain worked and what she knew. She was also the type that would be like, "Oh, you have a cough in your mouth when a spoonful of something and it was horrific smelling and tasting, but you felt better." Never questioned her voodoo ever in my life. But they did not have it easy. They had difficult lives. And as I got older and was able to converse and ask, I wish this book, something like this, because I asked so many questions. I was such a curious kid. Their life experiences were just what helped mold me into the person I am. And I'm grateful for every minute I had with them. And I speak about them often to my kids now who didn't have a chance to grow up with them, and about how wonderful these women were. But yeah, a lot of what drives me in my everyday life, they're both sitting there. They're both the devil angels. There's not like no angel wings. It's both devils on each shoulder, though. They were the best and worst influences in your life. Like if they had been the same age as me, we would have probably been in a lot more trouble. But they were fantastic women, and I miss them dearly.
Nice. That's awesome.
So let's show that book for everybody listening, watching. I'm going to put the links to everything we're doing. Grab a journal, write that down. And what I like about what you and I did today was the question didn't ask who inspires you at work, who inspires you at home. We could even go deeper. Who inspires you? Who is maybe a national, or like somebody who's on the news, or I don't want to say a celebrity because I'm not sure. That's
like a famous person, like a famous figure.
Yeah, who is a figure?
I don't really follow many, like I don't follow politics really. It's not
I don't follow. I try not to. I bare minimum.
So my favorite celebrity is someone who I like and who I think does a lot of good things is and he's just one of my favorite actors is Keanu Reeves. I just think he's a really cool dude. And he does a lot of good things, right? He lives a normal lifestyle, donates most of his money to charities and things like that. This man is a multi-millionaire and gives most of it away to.
Does his own stunts. Found that out.
Yeah.
I watched something over the weekend. I didn't realize he did every one of his own stunts.
Yeah, he does all of his own stunts, and he like gives so much back to the community. And he's, from what I've been told, he's just a really good guy. And I just, I think the world needs that, especially from celebrities, right? You hear all these celebrities, that don't live in the same
platform. Do something with it.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, he just does things like he has like a whole setup of like hospital charities, like not in his name, because he's not about the vanity of it, right? He's not looking to be like, oh, that's the Keanu Reeves wing of this hospital. It's I just donated $5 million, but I'm not going to tell you it's from me because people don't need to write a story about how I'm doing the work. It's
right.
That's the cool stuff to me, is that he's just willing to do it and not looking for the recognition of it, because it's not about him. It's about the work that's being done. And I've always kind of, again, I've been drawn to him. And the things that he does outside of his work, as far as just like the stories I hear about how a nice a guy he is, where like every other celebrity story you hear about, they're all just like, they're just jerks. And like, again, they don't think they're a different level of human, right? Oh yeah, like we can't talk to lesser people because you don't have $1 billion in your bank account.
And it's funny. So I think in the world we live in now, celebrity has such a different, like we've got all these social media sources. You've got TikTok celebrities, you've got YouTubers, you've got, just all these people who get the platform, they get the airtime, they're able to get in front of people in ways that celebrities didn't necessarily have the ability to draw crowds in, or certain demographics. Social media is a love-hate relationship. We need it for what we do, but it can also be a time suck, and it can be such a place that will drag you down. But I love what some of our celebrities have been doing that are TikTok famous. Like there's this guy, his name's Mr. Cheesesteak, right? He was a school teacher. He just blew up overnight, and he's a real human. And what he talks about are his struggles with weight, his struggles with depression, with not being able to leave his house some days, and then some days he's on top of the world. And I think that with our social media right now is needed more than ever, because our kids think celebrity life is perfect all the time. Like, right, it's the Instagram, like this, we only put out what we want you to see type of world. These people, while people make fun of the TikTok celebrities, real life, like, yes, I might have 2 million followers, I may made 10,000 last month on this, but I can't even get out of bed today. And here's why. And here's how I struggled and what. And I love that. I love anyone who is going to use their platform of followers, whether it's a celebrity, a YouTuber, to bring awareness to we're normal, right? Everybody's a human being. So that's who I like in those spheres, is I'm drawn to those people who are, crying on the cameras or happy some days. They're just normal people. There's also this, I'm sure you don't follow her, this may not be an algorithm, but there's a makeup artist who went she's from, I think she's in Braintree. Her name's Michaela. And she literally was Sephora or Ulta, started doing YouTube and TikTok tutorials on makeup and blew up. But she swears, she gets mad, she gives you the honest to God truth about the makeup. If it's good, it sucks. Her life, her weight struggles, all kinds of things. So that's what I love. I love when people use their platform and they are real across the board.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's gonna be us, right? So when we blow up and become famous on YouTube or whatever, and because we're doing this, we can use our platform to talk about real things, right? And I think we're real here, and that's always nice, right? It's always nice that, especially nowadays, I think the last year and a half, 2 years have really brought up the issue of mental health, right? Yeah. Obviously, that's come much more to the forefront with all the pandemic issues. That's, I think, one of the, so I think that's one of the big things that came out of it, is like, people have to be aware of mental health and how it's been viewed in the past and how it's looked at now. Is, obviously it's a real condition. A lot of people have mental health issues, and that it's okay not to be okay. And
it is. I love hearing that. That is because, how I was growing up, you didn't talk about, like, in the 80s, in the early 90s, the mental health or even the support services for kids was not like it is today, or the teenagers. Like, my middle son, he's BFFs with his school counselor. And to me, I was like, school counselor, that's who you go to when you get in trouble. Like,
I never met mine. I couldn't even tell you my school counselor's name.
That's hilarious. Like, we love his school counselor, and she is a respected, trustworthy person in his life. And like, I was like, I didn't have that. And it's funny because you're a little younger than me, but you didn't have that. And there are days where, like, I tell them, if you're having an off day, fine. I have off days, and it's hard because I'm on camera all day, or I'm in front of huge crowds of people, or in your market centers training. And while I am very positive and upbeat, there are some days where I get off camera and I'm like this. I don't want to smile anymore today. Like, I can't. I mean, I do because it's me, but there are some days I get in the car and I'm like, no radio, mouth breathing.
Yeah.
All the way home.
Yeah.
So cool. This is going to be so much fun. Again, I'm Brooke Silva. That's Matt Howard. We are perfect modern
strangers.
Or modern perfect strangers. See, this is like where I mess up all my words. Figure it out. We are excited to do this, to show, I don't know why my camera is not liking me and focusing today, but it's unscripted. We don't know the questions before we crack the book every day, and looking forward to digging through these questions. And maybe we'll bring
Yeah.
up some bonus questions on days we don't meet at future ones.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a guest on our show, I will put my email in any of the comments or the splashed up on the screen. It's b.silva@kw.com. Matt, do you want to say your email if anybody has questions about real estate or wants to get in touch with you as well?
Yeah, it's matthew.howard@kw.com.
And I will also put that in the comments with your contact info. All right, everybody, whether it's one watcher or 7,000, we're looking forward to the next question, and we will see you soon.